Recent developments indicate shift in United States foreign policy under the Trump administration. A few weeks ago, concerns were raised that the second Trump administration might be damaging the long-standing goodwill that Washington has enjoyed with major democracies. Instead of being seen as a positive force, the United States might now be perceived as actively malevolent. This perspective gained traction following Vice President J.D. Vance's confrontational speech at the Munich Security Conference. In that speech, President Donald Trump controversially blamed Ukraine for initiating the war with Russia. US officials reportedly offered Russia many concessions even before negotiations regarding Ukraine began. This has led to a notable reaction among European observers. Gideon Rachman, writing for the Financial Times, stated that the Trump administration's ambitions in Europe have transformed the United States into an adversary for the time being. Historically, there have been serious rifts in the transatlantic partnership. Notable instances include the Suez Crisis in 1956, the Vietnam War in the 1960s, as the Euromissiles issue in the 1980s, and the Iraq War in 2003. However, during these conflicts, most European nations did not perceive the United States as intentionally harmful. They believed in Washington's commitment to their security, understanding that their own prosperity was linked to it. Today, the sentiment among European leaders is markedly different. For the first time since NATO's inception in 1949, there are valid reasons to suspect that the United States, under Trump, is not only indifferent but potentially hostile towards Europe. Trump appears to favor a relationship with Russia over that with European nations. Speculation regarding Trump's affinity for President Vladimir Putin has persisted for years and now seems to influence US policy. Critics may argue that Trump is merely following a realist approach to foreign policy. They might suggest that prolonging the war in Ukraine is futile and that a better relationship with Russia could enhance European security in the long term. However, this perspective overlooks the fundamental changes Trump and his administration are attempting to implement. Their goal seems to be a complete overhaul of relations with traditional allies, aiming to reshape Europe in a manner aligned with their own political ideology. Trump's administration has threatened to impose tariffs on allies, coercing them for concessions. Such actions undermine cooperation and make it difficult for allies to contribute to mutual defense. Historically, previous administrations have not acted capriciously or used dubious justifications for economic harm against allies. Moreover, Trump's ambitions appear to extend beyond tariffs. He has expressed desires for territorial acquisitions, indicating a worldview that prioritizes power over alliances. This perspective is alarming for leaders in Europe, who now view the United States as a potential threat. Additionally, Trump and his allies are openly supporting illiberal forces within Europe seeking to destabilize traditional democratic norms. This aligns with the far-right movements in Europe, which share similar values with the MAGA ideology. Their opposition to immigration, skepticism towards the European Union, and disdain for established democratic institutions are evident. Rachman's assertion that the United States is now an adversary of Europe is partially accurate. Trump's administration actively supports European nationalist movements that oppose democratic governance and transnational cooperation. This poses a direct challenge to the values that have historically united the United States and Europe. Trump's approach risks alienating Europe further, as he seems to underestimate the region's resilience. The initial push for European integration emerged from a desire for self-reliance in the face of potential US withdrawal. Today, European leaders may need to reconsider their dependence on the United States. To safeguard their interests, European leaders should shift their focus from appeasing the United States to enhancing their own autonomy. This could involve strengthening trade relations with countries like China, developing independent financial systems, and rebuilding their defense capabilities. Such steps, while costly, may be necessary for Europe's future security. Although these actions could harm US interests, They reflect a growing recognition that Europe must chart its own course. The current trajectory suggests that if the Trump administration continues to alienate its European allies, the consequences could be for both sides. The time may come when Europe must act independently to ensure its own stability and security.